Thank you so much for joining me again today, everyone. It's great to have you all here. Today, I'm going to show you how to do your own facial analysis. Have you ever tried to follow a makeup tutorial but weren't sure what your own features were? And it just didn't work for you? I'm sure some of you can relate. To look our best and emulate our favorite celebrity, we first need to truly understand our own face. If you blindly follow, that particular aesthetic won't materialize because your face differs from theirs. Or even if copied, it feels unnatural because it doesn't suit you. So today, I'll show you exactly how to figure out your own facial features. First, the initial step is to understand the proportions of your face. Knowing your proportions means you're 80% there. First, we'll check horizontal proportions, so your hair must be down. Just like this, let it down and tuck it all behind your ears, and push your bangs back neatly too. You shouldn't tie your hair up. You need to wear it down to create contrast against your face, making it appear clearer. If your hair is very light and your face shape isn't clearly visible, you can tie your hair back and check it against a dark background. Examine the outer contours of your face thoroughly. If you're having trouble seeing it, watching the video of yourself can be helpful. Don't use selfie mode. You'll need the rear camera. Selfies distort your face. As you look, notice. My temples are sunken, my cheekbones stick out, the area below them is hollow, and my jawline is pronounced. Then this part dips in a little and my chin is pointy. You're just observing your face's outline like this. Some people, like myself, have a facial structure where the bones are quite visible. Others might have a smoother, fleshier outline with less prominent bone structure. Then there are those who have some parts that are very smooth, while other areas have bones that clearly protrude. The more visible your bone structure, the stronger your facial lines appear. It creates a stronger look rather than a delicate and soft one. Common features are indented temples, prominent cheekbones, a square jaw, and a defined jawline. The more visible this bone structure is, the easier it is to create a captivating, charismatic, or trendy vibe. My face's bone structure is quite prominent, so when I pull my hair back completely like this, I can bring out a more elegant or glamorous feel. This time, I've let my hair down along my face line to cover my bone structure. Since the bones aren't as visible, it gives a much softer look, right? If you want a lovely, cute, or innocent feel, you can let your hair frame your face like this to soften your features. You can show off different charms with just one face. Let's say you have a strong bone structure which gives you a sharp image, but your desired aesthetic is softer. Perhaps you're looking to create a more innocent or lovely vibe. If that's you, first try gently covering your face line with your hair. But if you use too much hair to cover it, it can create harsh contrast, look stuffy, and not hide it well. I recommend letting just a few wispy strands down to gently frame your face. For makeup, I often use concealer for highlighting. This one is from Makeup Forever, and this is from the Siam. You can use a really bright concealer like this to add volume to your face. Since we don't want the bone structure to be the focus, you should highlight the inner parts of your face. You can add volume by applying a bright concealer to areas like between your brows, the inner cheeks, the center of your chin, and the hollows beneath your cheekbones. Conversely, contour where your bone structure is most prominent and protruding. Look straight ahead and apply the contouring mainly on the areas that protrude. They're most visible when viewed straight on, so look directly ahead and gently tap on the contouring. Then, turn your face to the side and blend it into the side planes. For blush, focus on the inner part of your face rather than the outer. The blush focal point shouldn't be outside, but inside, because outside your bone structure is more prominent and blush there will draw attention to it. Place blush on the inner part of your face. What if your bone structure isn't very visible? Your face forms a sleek, smooth line. This kind of face often gives off a purer, softer impression. However, there are times when you might crave a different aesthetic, perhaps a trendy vibe, or something more captivating or glamorous, isn't there? In that case, you need to add some strong lines. Try shaping your eyebrows into an arch. Give your brows an angle and also draw your eyeliner in a winged shape. It's best to add strong accents with makeup elements such as bold eyeliner and sharply angled eyebrows. Now, we'll only check the vertical area. We can divide it into the upper, mid, and lower face, you see. The upper face extends from the hairline to the eyebrows, the mid face from the eyebrows to the bottom of the nose, and the lower face from the nose to the chin. Simply put, it's just your forehead length, nose length, and fill trim and chin length. If the proportions of these three areas are all similar, you have very balanced proportions. There's not much to fix, but if one area is notably long and another notably short, it stands out. If the proportions aren't even, you can just correct the parts that are too long or too short. Among the ways to make these corrections, the first is your skin's glow. The glowing parts of your skin are more noticeable, right? If a large area is glowing, it will catch the eye and look even bigger. So it's better not to have too much glow on areas that are long and wide. Let's say my upper face is long and I want this area to look shorter. If my forehead glows at the top, my upper face will look even wider. So it's actually ideal if your entire forehead isn't glowing, but if there is any glow, it should definitely be at the bottom. When the glow is at the bottom, the eye stops there. For the nose, if my mid-face is long and the tip of my nose glows, my nose will look longer. So either avoid highlighting the tip or apply the highlight a bit higher up. When I talk about glow here, it includes highlighter pearl, that inner radiance from skincare, and even the dewy finish from foundation. When it comes to the lower face, if your chin or philtrum is on the longer side and there's a glow from highlighter pearl on your chin, it draws more attention there, so it's preferable to keep it matte. And the second element is contouring. Naturally, you will want to contour more on the wider areas. If your upper face is long, then contour near your hairline. If your mid-face is long, contour your nose. And if your lower face is long, you'd contour around your jawline, right? It's also good to shorten the philtrum a bit. If you add some contouring under your nose and right above your lip, it makes the philtrum look shorter. The third element is blush, and it's best to think of it as the opposite of contouring. We focused contouring on areas with facial space, didn't we? Now blush should be handled in the exact opposite way. Its purpose isn't to create shadows, rather it's about drawing attention to your face. I applied blush here, and it really draws your attention to this area, because there's a lot of color. You should only apply blush where you want attention. If you want to reduce the length of your face, then your blush needs to be placed as high up as possible. If you apply it lower, it draws the eye down and makes your face look longer, so keep the blush up high like this. And conversely, if your mid-face is too short, then your blush should be a little lower. If it's positioned too high up, it can make your face appear somewhat compressed. It can feel a bit stuffy, so bringing it down a bit helps to draw the eye lower. For years, mid-face shortening makeup has been trending, right? It's because popular celebrities have short mid-faces, which influences trends. But our faces are all unique, aren't they? If someone with a naturally shorter mid-face just blindly applies that trendy makeup style, their face will end up looking quite flattened. It can look cramped, so for those, do your makeup the opposite way. For those with short, wide faces like myself, it's better to slightly lower the blush than keep it too high. I applied mine in a longer downward stroke as well. You can bring it down a bit like this, or you can even start applying it from a lower point. So checking your own facial proportions first is the most important thing. And the third element is eyebrows. Adding a bit of thickness to your brows can make the facial space seem smaller. So you can try adjusting your brow thickness. The angle also changes your face. The more arched your brows are, the more facial space you create. Because as the eyebrow arches upward, the facial space that was once this size becomes slightly more pronounced. So it's a good idea to play around with your eyebrow angle and thickness. For example, if my face is on the longer side and I want to balance that out. In that case, you draw your eyebrows a little thicker. If they're too thin, it makes the facial space appear larger, so add some thickness to reduce that space. If you feel your face is too wide or your vertical proportions are too short, you can create an arch in your brows to add length. I actually made a separate, really detailed video all about these eyebrows before. If you want to find your perfect eyebrows, you should definitely check out that video. The next key element is the eyes. Under-eye makeup is incredibly popular, and by doing so, you extend your eyes downward past their natural line, effectively minimizing the facial space beneath. It's a great technique because it makes your eyes look bigger and reduces facial space. But if your face is already very short, too much under-eye makeup can make it look even shorter and a bit stuffy. A prime example is Jenny, who I've discussed in another video about her makeup. Jenny's well known for having a notably short face, wouldn't you agree? The more makeup she puts on her under-eye area, the shorter her face appears, which gives her a more lovely and cute vibe rather than a sophisticated, captivating one. So she tends to keep her under-eye area very neat and clean. Even among people with long faces, some might have a short mid-face. So don't just think your face is long, always consider your upper, middle, and lower face proportions. Some people have long faces because of a long forehead, while others have a long chin. A long face doesn't necessarily mean a long mid-face. Even if you have a long face but your mid-face isn't proportionally long, applying too much under-eye extension makeup can make it appear crowded and shorten this area even further, potentially disrupting your overall facial proportions. So, you always need to check your 1:1:1 ratio first, and then apply your eye makeup accordingly. When I say under eye extension makeup, I mean taking a soft shadow color and blending it downwards from the triangle zone here. This is a technique where you make your eyes appear more open by adding shadow to the aegyosal and then drawing a darker shadow underneath it to significantly extend the lower lash line. Not every face type will look beautiful simply by extending the under eye area in that manner. In my case, I have a short mid-face, but I still did the under eye extension makeup. Why did I do it? Well, I did nose contouring to make my nose appear a bit longer. I applied the shadow in a long straight line. When you apply it like this, it emphasizes the length of your nose, making it look much longer. So I effectively lengthened my mid-face, and that's why the under eye extension makeup doesn't look awkward at all. But if I hadn't contoured my nose and had just extended my eyes downward with my already short mid-face, this area would appear even shorter, making my face look wider and potentially more congested. So you want under eye extension makeup even with a short mid-face. I want my eyes to look bigger. Then you need to contour your nose in a long line from top to bottom to make it look longer. Now, you might be curious. If your mid-face is long in your facial proportions, you should mainly apply nose contouring to the upper part of your nose. And it's really better to avoid the middle part altogether if possible. You skip it and apply the shadow in a shorter line. And also, the space between your brows needs to appear wider. If it's narrow, it highlights length. Right now, I need my nose to look longer, so my contour went in right from here. My contour begins right here, but that's not how you should do it. You need to start it further back, curving in a C shape. If you bring it in like this, the space between your brows looks much wider. Next, the bridge of your nose should be wide. I narrowed mine. That's to make my nose look longer, but a wider nose bridge adds horizontal width, which makes your nose seem shorter. So, using a C shape, make the space between your brows wide and keep your nose bridge broad. You don't narrow it too much, but widen it and cut off the nose tip. And with under eye extension makeup, your mid-face looks much shorter. And finally, lips. Overlining is very trendy now, right? The idea is to make lips look bigger to shorten the lower face, making your face appear shorter. Some of you might have a really short chin in your facial proportions. If your chin is short and you blindly follow the overlined lip trend, it will eat up your already limited facial space, making your face appear really cramped. If you just barely touch it and your lips look like a big mallet, then excessive overlining might not be for you. But what if you have a short chin but a long philtrum? Then you just draw your upper lip thicker. You make your upper lip appear plumper, bringing it up like this to effectively shorten your philtrum. The proportions of the lower face vary for everyone. Some have a short philtrum, some have a long one, some have a short chin, some have a long chin. You have to overline your lips according to your features. Just making both the top and bottom lips thicker won't work for everyone. If your philtrum is short, don't make your upper lip too thick. It will totally look weird, so try not to touch the upper lip at all. But if your chin is a bit long, then make your bottom lip look nice and full and thick. If your chin is short, then don't overline your lips much. Just follow your natural lip line. But my philtrum and chin are both short, so overlined lips don't suit me at all, yet I still want bigger lips to follow the trend. For those individuals, you should extend the width of your lips. There's no vertical space, so just stretch your lips sideways like so. In that case, you can simply draw the corners of your lips longer. Extend your lips primarily at the corners to make them appear longer. Alright, this time, let's analyze your eyes instead of your face shape. First, let's talk about your eyelid space. You need to check the length between your brows and eyes. The smaller the eyelid space, the stronger the impression. It gives a deep set look. From a distance, this area will be prominent. It gives a deep set look, but can draw too much focus to that area. So in that case, focus on under eye extension makeup. Since this area is strong, avoid it and do your under eye makeup instead. You add shadow under your eyes, emphasize your aegyosal, or do your lower lashes. If someone with such eyes applies shadow broadly on their eyelid, it will appear even narrower, right? And if you use an eyelash curler to create a strong C-curl, the lashes themselves will make the space look even smaller. Therefore, for these types of eyes, it's best to apply minimal eyeshadow to the upper lid and primarily focus on the lower lid. As for lash curling, instead of a tight C-curl, it's better to slightly lift just the tips using a J-curl. If you're considering putting on false lashes, choose a softer design rather than a dramatic one. Opt for softer lashes instead of dramatic ones. If your eyelid space is already small, dramatic ones will only make it look even narrower. So you should apply a natural design like this, or you could apply bottom lashes or use a lot of mascara on your lower lashes. The goal is to draw attention downward. On the other hand, some of you might have a lot of eyelid space. The more eyelid space you have, the softer and less defined your features can look. Given the ample facial space, it's good to add details to the upper eye area. Since under-eye makeup is super trendy these days, if you just blindly copy that exact look, your upper eye might appear really puffy, while only the bottom is emphasized. This can make your eye proportions look quite imbalanced. It can make your eyelid space look wider, so if you have a lot of eyelid space, deeply applying eyeshadow is good. You fill the eyelid space with shadow, adding depth. Emphasizing lashes helps too. Try a more dramatic lash design and use a strong C-curl to really lift those lashes up and reduce that facial space. So check your eyelid space here. Next, the fleshiness of your eyelid is also important. Some people have very little flesh on their eyelids, so they look sunken and hollow, or you might be young so they aren't hollow yet, but you just don't have much flesh there to begin with. When you touch this area, if it doesn't feel plump and fleshy, and instead you immediately feel your eyeballs sinking deep in. For these people, eyeshadow pigment shows up more intensely, so a light wash of color ends up looking really dark. That's especially true when your eyelids have less flesh. Too much shadow isn't good then. It can easily start to look dull. Let's say the concept you're going for today is a bright, fresh look. In that case, it's best not to apply too much shading. Instead, focus on using lighter shadows and applying them to your eyelid area. Also, these types of eyes look great with shimmer. Your eyelids are perfect for showing off pearl finishes. So go ahead and apply these beautiful pearls to your eyelids. Then, any sunken areas will be filled in with the pearl, giving you a vibrant look without appearing puffy, adding life to your eyes. On the other hand, what if you have fleshy eyelids? If your eyelids are plump, it's easy for people like you to look lively and bright. The less flesh you have here, the more visible your veins are, and the sunkenness might look drawn or tired. But if you have a lot of flesh here, you look more vibrant. But what if you want a more atmospheric, deep, sultry eye makeup look today? In that case, it's great to generously apply eyeshadow all over your eyelid. You just need to make them look less puffy and a bit more recessed. I imagine some of you might be a bit confused by what I've explained so far. My eyelid space is short, yet it's quite fleshy. You advised against using much shadow when the eyelid space is short, but then you mentioned needing to apply a lot if they're plump. So what should I do? You might be thinking that. Just target the area that concerns you the most. The fleshiness of your eyelid space, the length of your eyelid space, all these factors apply differently to everyone. Everyone's features are vastly different. For some, fleshy eyelids might be a bit of a concern that conflicts with their desired aesthetic and needs addressing. But for others, plump eyelids might be a charming, cute feature that should simply be accentuated. Since all these different elements apply uniquely to everyone, first prioritize the area that concerns you most. Or if you have no specific concerns, match your desired aesthetic. For instance, I want a clean image like Kim Go-eun. So if your eyelids look puffy, embrace that as it is and apply the techniques in a way that suits you perfectly. Okay, next we're going to check our eye proportions. Eyes also have vertical and horizontal proportions. When you look at your eyes, if they seem quite round and short horizontally, it's important to elongate them sideways. Apply your eyeshadow long. Don't just stop at the end of your eye, extend it further out. Also, draw your eyeliner long and extend your false lashes to the outer corner. You're not just applying lashes here, but extending them further out. So, the key is to make your eyes appear as long as possible. If you're going for a no makeup look and you think, I'll just use mascara or an eyelash curler for eyes that are short horizontally, just using mascara will actually make your eyes look even rounder. That makes your eyes look even shorter, and then you'll think, huh? Mascara doesn't suit me. So for these eyes, a haeni makeup schnoop. You should skip the mascara and curling, and instead use eyeshadow or eyeliner to elongate your eyes. Just extend a long wing at the outer corner of your eye. That makes your eyes look much longer, more open, bigger, and keeps the eye makeup light. But if you're doing a full makeup look, it's fine to emphasize your lashes. Eyeshadow, eyeliner, and even lashes are all extended outwards. In that case, you can go strong on the lashes. Now, some people have eyes that are long horizontally but short vertically. For those people, emphasizing the lashes is good. If you're going for a simple, no makeup look, mascara alone is ideal. When you apply mascara, your lashes lift, making your eyes appear vertically larger. So for this eye shape, a strong lash curl is also a great idea. Under eye extension makeup is good. It makes eyes bigger downwards. So, we analyzed our face and eye proportions today. Was it helpful? While we could dive much deeper into facial analysis, I have just quickly highlighted the most crucial aspects to avoid overwhelming you with too much information all at once, my dear viewers. I truly hope this can be well applied to your own beauty routine. When you're watching a makeup tutorial or aiming to emulate a celebrity you admire, if you truly understand your own facial features, you'll be far better at applying those techniques to enhance your unique charm. I believe there's no right or wrong way to look. Something you thought was a flaw might actually become an asset with a style you've never tried before. I truly hope that by delving into your own face, you'll grow to love yourselves even more. Thank you so much for watching today. Have a great week. Hope it's a happy one. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.